my thoughts on the older generation. And to tell you the truth, to tell you the honest truth, the universal truth, I've dealt with some immature adults, some immature older guys, and for the most part, it wasn't pretty. Like, for example, I had a manager at a store when I was supervising, and when I first came into the door, when he looked at me, first he frowned up. He was frowning. He had a frown upon his face. And the next thing you know it, he acted like he wanted to fight me. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. I didn't look at. To tell you the truth, when I first seen him, I didn't pay any attention to him. I just minded my own business. A lot of I didn't have an attitude or anything. I just had a blank expression. You know what I'm saying? Because this is my first time being here. But the manager acted like he wanted to fight me, and I was kind of confused. Like, wait a minute, I don't know this guy. And then for a while, he just started to treated me horribly, like I'm a bad person or something, and he would say like slick remarks and stuff. He would say like certain things about my character. He would say, certain things behind my back. I didn't pay attention, man. I just kept on doing my work. And then I remember he said something about beating up young. I remember one time where he came up to me. The dude came up to me, and he said about three times that he could beat up young pups like me. And I said to myself, "Oh, well, this ain't the time to do it." But I mean, okay, I believe you. He said it like three times, like he wanted me to engage in a fight. And I said to myself, "Is this dude for real? Like, number one, you're older than me, and number two, we're working. So why the fuck would you say some shit like this?" That's what I said to myself in my mind, but I just kept it cool, because I was busy working. And it was just a bunch of clusterfucks, man. Listen, overall, I worked there for a little while, then I left, and then I went to this job placement and training program. It was another older guy. When I first seen him, he looked at me, he shook my hand. He shook my hand. He walked up to me and put his hand out there. So I shook his hand, gave him a manly handshake. And I must say, like 2 weeks later, the same motherfucker, that old nigga, the same motherfucker that shook my hand had the nerve to talk about me behind my back, saying that what did he say? He said that about me, I'm trying to remember what he said. He could beat up young pups like me, around the same, some of the same similar stuff that my old supervisor did. And he also said something about putting me in the hood so let all the guys beat me up, or so like all the hoodlums beat me up. And I said to myself, I heard him. I heard him like from the, from a distance, saying that he'll, put me in the ghetto and let all the hoodlums beat me up and all that stuff. And I said to myself, like, number one, I'm from the hood, and number two, some of those street dudes, man, they're not gonna fuck with me, man, because once they realize how cool I am, man, they ain't gonna fuck with me, man. But the main thing is that job. The main thing what I'm trying to say is that the dude that was in charge of the job placement and training program, he was a bully. Same thing with my old manager. And I said to myself, like, wait a minute, man. Like, these old ass niggas, man, ain't shit. Like, the older generation ain't shit. They talk a good game, but when it comes to putting in the work, the motherfuckers ain't shit, man. It's like they like to pick and choose, like, on who's so-called real and who's so-called not, And when they look at me, they think I'm some type of mark, but I'm not a mark. You know what I'm saying? I graduated from not only from high school, but from college. You know what I'm saying? I went to military school, per se. I went to ROTC program. Stuff like that, man. I'm not a mark, man. I had a couple of fights. Actually, I had a lot. Actually, I had a few fights when I was younger. But later on throughout the years, man, I calmed that shit down because I realized, man, as a black man, as a black man living in America, you have to literally have to control your anger. You have to control your emotions. Because I guarantee you, when it comes to these cops out here, especially these white cops, they love to put a young black male in prison. All because that young black male can't control his emotions, cannot control his actions. That's the main reason why I stopped fighting at a young age. That's the main reason I began to mature. To have, what I mean by mature, I'm talking about having emotional intelligence. Because I realized, man, in the hood, a lot of these young guys out here never had a two-parent homes. They was basically raised by their mothers, and by having that, the energy, that female energy around them, is very chaotic. And with that chaotic energy, they can't control themselves. They can't control their. They can't control their emotions that well because they get it from their mothers. They get it from their female energy. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these young guys out here can't control their emotions, and that's why a lot of these young dudes out here either get either get shot or either get shot, shot dead, or they go to jail. You know, but my overall premise is this, man. My overall thing is this: a lot of these old guys out here, man. Especially in the black community, but what I realize, the older generation, these motherfuckers ain't shit. They really ain't. They basically drop the ball, and they think they know it all, but they really don't, man. I understand that there's some things that they know, but a lot of these, but dude, the ones that I came across, man, especially the men, the women too, the women ain't shit too, but especially the men are basically cowards. They're basically tough cowards. You know what I'm saying? They basically like to bully other young black males who are not thuggish, who are who's not street nor thuggish. But when it comes to those thug ass dudes, man, they won't bother them. They won't talk to them any other type of way, man, because they know them thug ass dudes will shoot their asses. But when it comes to regular guys like me, I'm a regular dude. Some people may consider me as a nerd, but I'm a regular guy. But when it comes to nerds and stuff, guys that's not ghetto or hood and all that stuff, the older generation, of men in the black community wants to pick on those guys because they know that those guys are not a threat. They know that those guys are not hood, so they like to talk about them. And then it made me realize that the older generation are nothing but cowards. They love to pick on the innocent brothers that's trying to do the right thing, the ones that's not trying to have, not trying to make babies all over the place. They don't want to have multiple baby mamas and have to pay a lot of child support. Those young dudes are not like that, including me. I'm not like that, man. I don't have multiple baby mamas and all that shit, man. I'm just trying to, trying to live the correct life, trying to live the correct way so I can survive in this crazy ass system that's in America, so I can survive in this crazy ass world. But like I said before, you got these old ass niggas that want to start shit with the innocent brothers, the innocent young brothers. And you know what, too, man, in my honest opinion, a lot of these older guys are jealous. They're jealous of the young guys who has a clean slate in life. The young brothers that's trying to do the right thing, what I'm saying, trying to get their life together and all that stuff, having a clean slate, trying to do what's right in this crazy ass world, in this crazy ass system. And then you got these older generation, these older dudes, man, from the older generation, wanna try to set up the young guy, try to discredit the young guy, and in some cases they want to beat up the young guy, all because the young guy is on his grind and trying to do what's right for himself. But you got the older generation that's jealous of that. You got the older generation that wants to stop that young guy's movement, wants to stop that young guy's progress. And that's very sad too. It's very unfortunate, but it's happening right now. Shit, it happened to me a couple of times, These older dudes out here that want to want to challenge me and stuff, want to challenge me to a fight and all that stuff. Like, man, I ain't got time for that shit, man. Like, number one, you're old. Number two, you're supposed to be an elder, supposed to teach me something. And number three, just because you're old don't mean I won't whoop your motherfucking ass, man. Just because I'm not about that, hood life and all that stuff does not mean that I'm a coward. I'm not a fucking coward. I'm not a fucking coward. And I'm so disappointed at the older generation the older generation of men that wants to try me sometimes. It's like, dude, man, you're acting so fucking immature, man. But it made me realize, man, a lot of these older guys, man, they just grew in age, but when it comes to their mentality, they still have the mentality of a 20-year-old, man. Acting like they're young, acting like they still got it, but they really don't, man. They don't. They're getting older, man. They old guys, man. You gotta let that shit go. You're not in your 20s, man. You're not young no more, man. Just let it go. Enjoy your older years, man. Enjoy your twilight years. And when it comes to young guys like me, man, just stand aside, respect my grind, and just go on about your business. Respect what I do, respect mine, and I respect yours, man. Go on about your business like I'm trying to do mine. I'm going about my business. But you got these old motherfuckers out here, man, that that are so fucking pathetic to the point that they would rather stop a young guy on his grind because they jealous of that young person. And, it's very sickening, man. I'm just tired of it, man. I'm tired of all these old motherfuckers, man, that wants to hang on to their glory days and stuff. It's like, motherfucker, you're not in your 20s no more. Let that shit go. Let it ride. Ride on to the sunset in your twilight years. Let the older generation have their thing. Let the young generation do their thing. Let the young generation do what they have to do. I'm just tired of all the, naysaying and the bullying from these older motherfuckers out here, man. Listen, just because when it comes to these older guys, man, just because you fucked up your life doesn't mean I have to do it. Just because you fucked up your life does not mean that I have to take the same route as you in order for me to be certified in your book. Man, fuck you in your book, and fuck you in your respect. Your respect ain't shit to me, old ass niggas. Yeah, but I digress from that, man. I fucking digress, man. I'm just tired of these old ass niggas, man. Just give it up. Let the young guys out here do what they have to do to support themselves and their families, man. Stop all the bullying. Listen, old ass niggas, you're not young no more. To the older generation, you're not young. Let it go. Live out your twilight years. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you teach the young generation something, man? Teach and instill them. You know what I'm saying? Teach them the game. Don't just try to hog all the game for yourself, man, and try to let the young generation fall apart and all that stuff, man, because of your selfishness. Let the young generation hear game. Let them hear game. Let the young generation just let the young generation shine and let them do what they have to do. That's all I gotta say about that, man. That's all I gotta say. Thank you so much and have a good day.